Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another story. That's right, we're back. I know. And welcome back my returning comics. You know, that's gonna be my name for you guys. I've been kind of throwing that name out there. Nothing has really gotten back to me, so if you guys like that name, go ahead and leave a comment down below mentioning if you'd like to, be called comic. Comically famous. Kind of makes sense. Anyways, side note, if you'd like to join that club, just go ahead and hit that subscribe button before anything, and you guys will get the latest up-to-date videos. And if you guys also like gameplays, I also got those too. So, if commentaries aren't really your cup of tea, I got that for you too. Anyway, before we jump straight into today's story, I'd like to mention some stuff that I think you guys would like to know about. As always, before the start of my stories, I like to do a quick update on the latest happenings around myself and this channel. So if you'd like to jump ahead to the story, go ahead and skip to the time now. I'll give you 3 seconds. 1, 2, don't leave, please. Please don't leave, please. Okay, you're still here? Good. So the update goes as follows. For those who'd like to become more a part of this channel, and I mean who doesn't, I will be attempting to do a Q&A by this Friday, so if you have any questions or just want to be part of the video, go ahead and ask them in the comment section below. But if I don't have enough questions, I'll just post another story, or whatever that day is, I'll figure it out. Part 2 of this update is for those who would like to see more rants. For example, my previous video on its side, if you guys haven't seen that, I also highly recommend that video. Bit of a new thing on this channel, but I got a lot of views on it and a lot of kind of uproar from the community. Not a lot, but a decent amount, more so than my other videos do, so I thought, I might as well do one again, but I really haven't found anyone to kind of go for it. And guys, I'm not going to be witch hunting people. I'm not going to go out of my way to look for these people. So if you guys really want this to be a kind of series, if you will, an ongoing thing, just go ahead and send me a link to anyone that might seem fishy to either my email at imsofamousdaily@gmail.com or my Twitter at comicallyfamous. Okay, so now that we got all that out of the way, let's jump straight into it. And for all those people that skipped ahead, hello, we're back in the future. What's up?
Good night, future boy!
Let's get right into this story. So, this story takes place around a couple of months ago, I think, when I was getting stoned with my homies, yes. And I was with my 2 friends, James and Poon. And if you have no idea who these people are, I highly recommend going and checking out my video called Almost Eaten by Sharks. If you guys haven't seen that, you'll get a little bit of an idea who these people are, but I digress. So continuing, it was just us 3 at their apartment, and I remember we were kind of just sitting there with our dicks in our hand, metaphorically. We were just shit out of luck, guys, because Poon ended up smoking the rest of the weed. I have to whisper because, my parents are in the next room, and it's kind of a touchy subject. Anyways, we didn't have any more, and so of course, we had to go get some. We kind of kicked this off by, smoking, and we're on our way, and we grabbed some bikes to make the whole trip faster. And guys, also keep in mind, I don't have my contacts in, and this is not in the middle of the day or early in the day. This is at, I think, 11 o'clock at night. Almost midnight, and we were heading out to get some good. Of course, I didn't have my contacts in, so I was basically blind. So I was using James and Poon, which is, in hindsight, not a good idea now. But I was using them as my guides, and they were kind of leading me through the canyon while we were on the way. The whole thing kind of went like this. We grabbed 3 bikes. They said something was wrong with my bike. They gave me the shittiest one that they had. I don't know why, but, I already had a shitty bike, no contacts in, and it was already pitch black at night. In the canyon there's really no lights, so we were kind of just going by this little flashlight that was on Poon's phone. And I remember, halfway through the trip, everything seems normal, and I'm kind of tailgating James the whole time, because, I couldn't see, and he would do this thing. I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of an idea. At the time, I didn't really understand what was going on, and I was kind of scared for my fucking life throughout this whole trip. Now that I'm looking back on it, I know exactly what happened, and I kind of laugh at myself for it. But anyways, now that you guys know that and have a little bit of context, let's continue. So James would do this thing because I was tailgating him. He was getting kind of annoyed. He would grab rocks and he'd throw them in the bushes next to us. And especially because I couldn't see, I'd freak out. I'd be like, "What the fuck is that?" Every few meters or so, he'd throw another rock, and I'd be like, "What the fuck? It's following us." And they just act like it was no big deal. So of course, me being the only scared one, I was just like, "What the fuck is going on?" And I didn't, I was too dumb at the time, too stoned really, to kind of realize what was going on. We were kind of getting there, and I was freaking out. So I remember 2/3 of the way into the canyon, before we meet up with the guy, we were stopped. And I remember Poon stopped right there, and James almost crashed into him, and I almost crashed into James, of course. And we're all stopped, and the flashlight goes out. And Poon in his hand, he's like, "No fucking way. No way, dude." And he looks at me, he's like, "Dominic, no way." And I'm like, "No way what?" All freaking out and shit. He's like, "My flashlight just died, dude. I was like, "Dude, did you charge it at all?" He's like, "Yeah, I had it at 100%, dude. What the fuck?" And he's all freaking out. And of course, me seeing this reaction and me trusting him more than I should have, I freaked out too, and I was like, what the fuck, dude? I was trying to jump off my bike to turn it around, because, you know, we were in a narrow path, kind of, surrounded by bushes. So I got off my bike, tried turning it around so we can kind of get the fuck out of there. And right when I got off my bike, James and Poon both rode off. 5 seconds, they were 20 feet in front of me, and I was just like, before I even knew what was happening, I could barely see Poon's light in the distance, and I was like, oh shit. So I jumped up on my bike, and I just rode straight towards them. So after all that, we finally get there, and I've obviously caught up to them, and they were just sitting there laughing. I remember, like, they were laughing hysterically, and I'm sitting there all kind of salty. I'm like, what are you guys laughing at, man? Why'd you guys do that shit? Why'd you ditch me? And they're like, oh, we're just fucking with you, man. Chill out, chill out. And so, you know, we go and pick up, and on the way back, we're coming back, you know, 2/3 of the way there. We're almost there. I can see the apartment complex. Like, we're on the way, we're on the trail, and I remember, I don't know, we took a different way. Like, we took I guess a shorter way. It was a shortcut is what he called it. Well, Poon called it. And I remember we were on this narrow path again, and it was bushes surrounding us again. And I remember he kind of stopped in front of me. He was like 10 feet in front of me, so he stopped, and I shone the flashlight on this kind of, there was a little bit of a dip inside the trails, and so the dip was about as steep as one step, if that makes sense. And there was a bush kind of obscuring my view from it, so he kind of put the flashlight on it so I can see where it was. James kind of stood away to the side, and so he's like, alright, go ahead. And so I started going, and right when I was about to like hop over the dip, he fucking turns off the flashlight, and I'm just like, oh my god, dude. I remember he turned off the flashlight, and I freaked out, and I almost, like, you know when you see those motorcycles kind of stop and brake too fast and they almost flip over themselves? It was kind of like that, except I counterbalanced it and leaned backwards into the side to the right, and I crashed into the bush that was obscuring the view of the dip. And I remember they started laughing at me again, and it was horrible because, you know, I was freaking out. Not only was I blind still, couldn't see the fucking animal that was, you know, quote unquote following us, but, you know, in hindsight I remember it's James. And then Poon with this whole light bullshit fucking freaking me out. And not to mention the fact that I was fucking stoned, dude. Like, oh my god, that shit was the worst thing I've ever experienced. And I remember I got on my bike and I was like, fuck you guys, I'm out of here. And so I got all salty. And of course, you know, when someone gets salty, they decide to leave. Anyone reasonable, they leave the situation, kind of walk away. I walked home that day all like kind of salty and stoned at the same time. And I remember my mom walked in. My mom didn't walk in. I walked in, and my mom was in the living room waiting for me. And I remember I told her the story, you know, how they kept fucking with me, and she knew I was stoned, so she started laughing her ass off. And I was like, all right, fuck you too then. And I just went upstairs, you know, sat in my room, kind of relaxed, and fell asleep. Next day, you know, I remembered everything that happened. I just started laughing at myself. Point of the story, there's not really a moral. I just kind of say these things, but point being, the story is don't be too salty about things. Just kind of don't hold grudges, and, you know, live a good life, man, because you only experience things once. And guys, with that, we'll end off this video. And if you're hearing my voice right now and you made it all the way to the end of the video, go ahead and type or comment oranges in the comment section down below. I'll be doing most of these all the time. Or will I? I don't know. Who knows? Maybe this is a new thing, maybe it's not. We'll see. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching, and if you enjoyed, please leave a like and a favorite down below. That'd be much appreciated, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.
When they come, and they will, they'll come for you.
I have an army.
We have a Hulk.
Oh, I thought the beast had wandered off.
You're missing the point. There's no throne. There is no version of this where you come out on top.
Let me infiltrate the beat, concentrate the heat. If you ain't on my level, fuck it, let me be. I'll be going till it's all in motion.